Met a girl in Oakland, but I don't wanna say.
First of all, tell everybody who you are, and in 4 words, I want you to describe yourself.
Okay, hey everyone. My name is Rayah Houston. People may know me by Shape by Houston. That's what my Instagram is, or just Houston. But I recently just did get my pro card this year, or 2023, because it is 2024, in the wellness category. Super exciting, yes. And 4 words to describe me, I will say I am persistent, ambitious, very optimistic, and strong.
Wow. You know what? That is a lineup. That's actually pretty accurate. I would feel like, all of those skills you absolutely have to have in order to be um, successful in the
Hmm.
IFBB Pro or even getting there.
Yeah.
And I definitely think your description is accurate. But let's start at the beginning, Rhea. So, you know, you have your own fitness business. You've been training people for a while. But how did you get into bodybuilding?
Okay, so I've always been an athlete all my life. I swam for 12 years. That was my very first sport. I was a cheerleader, and I always enjoyed the gym because my very first job was at LA Fitness or Lifetime Fitness. So I was cool with all the trainers there and everything and kind of worked out with them and all. And fast forwarding into 2020, that's when I was training at a gym, FDO, and I met Kay and Jock. I will always say Kay and Jock, they put me in the game. They
That's where I
are the
started
ones
to.
who
That's where I started to.
they are the ones who welcomed me
Royalty,
into
right?
bodybuilding, literally. And it
Yes.
started with my shoulders. And honestly, all my life I said I would never, ever compete. I was like, I don't want to look like that. I mean, kudos. I love it. I love to see it, but it just wasn't for me. And they were like, no, there's this new division called Wellness coming out. And they showed me Francille, the Olympia winner now. And I was obsessed with like her legs. I was obsessed with her glutes. I was obsessed with her whole like physique, all in all. And
Right.
honestly, I'm 5'10", and I've never really had legs before. So I've never really had the really a physique goal to look like that, because I'm like, I didn't even know it was honestly possible. But it looks amazing, and I got motivated. So I just started
Yeah.
to train differently than I was before, because I was just working out because I love to work out. I didn't really have like a goal or anything besides a flat stomach, but nothing really crazy in mind. But when Kay and Jock introduced me to competing, I was like, let's do it. Let's do it.
Yes. So if you guys aren't familiar with who Kay and Jock is, she is talking about Kanae. K Fit Barbie is her
Cake and
Instagram
Barbie.
name.
Hmm.
Go follow her right now, and also Mr. Reps. Listen, you
Yes.
guys, they have been holding the bodybuilding community down in Atlanta for a very long time. They are definitely goals. Kay is also a woman in history that you should know, specifically a Black woman in bodybuilding that you should know, because she has, again, introduced so many women to this sport that has changed lives and built
Yes.
confidence and incredible physiques. So shout out to both of them. I also started there too with Kay, did my first show under her, and she gave me the blueprint, and I am forever in her debt for that. And we love you, Kay. We love you. So
Kisses.
yes. So, okay, so wellness. I remember when, it was being introduced back into like, the North American platform,
Yes.
right? Because
Hmm.
it's been popular in some of the Spanish speaking countries and things
Yes.
like that. But, once they said it's coming to America, literally, so many people were excited, but it's taken us a while to really understand what is wellness and what is not. And you kind of
Hmm.
been there and seeing all of that. How would you describe the wellness category?
So, wellness for me is someone who, it's not all about having big muscles. It's really about, are you symmetrical? Are you symmetrical from head to toe? Is that waist small? It's not necessarily about having blocky abs. Is that waist small, and are your shoulders matching your glutes? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hmm.
do you have the quads? Do you have the density in your hamstrings? Do you have the density in your glutes, your upper glutes? It's all about your lower half, basically. And
Yeah.
that's, do you have it? Do you have the
Yes,
shape and the femininity?
that's right. So why do you think it's popular among African American women?
I honestly think it's popular because we say we have the genetics. We are African American, and we're built. We're built to have strong built bones. You know, we're big bone. Most of us are really big bone.
Mhm.
And we also, our physiques adapt very, very well when it comes to going through the type of pressure of like, you know, eating on a plane or training hard. And we have that mindset. You know, I kind of think it's a go-getter thing. So I feel like a lot of Black women think it's possibly easy, you know, to push for wellness because they got thick thighs or they got, you know, a thick butt or, you know,
Mhm.
they can
Mhm.
easily shape themselves into that category.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know for a lot of bikini competitors, specifically Black female competitors that were doing bikini, they've kind of switched over to wellness because they no longer have to be super skinny or
Hmm.
try to create a physique that isn't
Yeah,
genetically predisposed to Black women, because Black women tend to be more dominant on the lower half
absolutely.
and already carry a lot of that muscle density that you were talking about. But let's be clear, no category is easy, okay?
Yeah, yeah, no, it doesn't matter what. If you want to compete in any category, it is not
Yeah,
easy, no matter
it's
what.
not easy. And I think that's one thing about wellness. A lot of girls think, oh, all I got to do is be thick. And I'm like, no, ma'am. You got to
No,
be
they
thick
might
in the
have a lot
right
of ass. They're
places.
like, oh, I have
Yes.
glutes. No, mama.
Yeah. Yeah. It's still a full package. You still got to have the beauty. You still got to
Absolutely.
have the poise. You still got to pose. You still have to look tight. Like you
Looked,
still are
yeah.
doing all of the work. And
Hmm.
then on top of that, you're building a good amount of muscle. It's not just thickness, it's a
Yes.
ton of muscle.
And
so
you have to be
kudos
lean.
to you kudos to you for doing it, and doing it so beautifully, might I add. Like, just graceful and pretty and beautiful.
Thank you.
So now let's talk a little bit about that journey, right? So you started your journey knowing that you wanted to do wellness.
Yes.
And what year did you start? And talk to me a little bit about that time in the NPC. Some of the shows you did. How many shows did you do? And what was that like?
So, with Kanae, I did two shows. I did Lee Haney in 2020, and I got second place. So for me, I was feeling really great. I was feeling great at the moment. We went to an off season for about 4 to 5 months, and then I was preparing for my next show, which was Clash of Titans. I think that show was in July, possibly.
Mhm.
There was only two people in my class, so I got second place again.
Yeah.
And I just kind of loved the journey throughout that process too, because it was definitely hard doing all the cardio, and like I was doing cardio so much. I was wearing sauna
Yes.
suits. I was running. I was I was probably the first person in the gym and the last person in the gym to leave. And
Mhm.
that's crazy. But I would have my in between, of course, time to do what I have to do, but still it was a lot to have to manage.
Yeah.
But after Clash, I continued to keep journeying off until learning about the sport and everything. And I went to Fit Body Fusion, and I love the team. And it was literally my first show I did. What show was that? Um, wow, that was so long ago. Oh, I did Charleston in South Carolina. So
Mhm.
I did, my coach was Jordan Lee, and I did the first show. I got first place and I won overall. It was Nashville. That was the
Mhm.
show. The
Mhm.
first show was
Mhm.
Nashville. And I got overall, true novice and open. That was kind of, I was kind of on a high at that, and I was doing three shows back to back. So that year I was aiming, which was 2021, I was aiming
Mhm.
for my pro card. Or
Mhm.
2022. 2022,
Yeah.
I was aiming for my pro card.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So to rewind, I did one show in 2020. I did one show in 2021. I did three shows in 2022. There we go. So
Yeah.
my first show in 2022, I did win overall twice. So that was good. My second show I did was in Charleston, and that was the NPC Excalibur show. And I won overall there too. And then we were aiming for Pittsburgh in 2022 at North Americans.
Mhm.
And I got second place. That was my very first national show.
Mhm.
So leading up to that national show, um, during that prep, I wasn't going to say it was a hard prep, but because mentally I was clocked in. So I
Mhm.
was clocked in at the fact that I got one overall. That's amazing. My very first one. My second one, I was just still kind of going like, all right, you're going,
Yeah.
you're going, you're going. I wasn't really thinking about, is someone going to beat me, or, like it was just me versus me.
That's
I
right.
never really had that comparison figure because like, I guess I'll say I never really looked at myself as like comparing myself to other people. I mean, of course I had my idols and I would want to,
Mhm.
dang, like question myself, like, dang, like how can I look like that? Or how can I get there? But it was never like a, oh, I'm scared that this person's going to beat
Yeah.
me. I'm not
So
really,
you just had like an overwhelming sense of confidence in yourself, and it was just about
yeah,
your journey. And you're
yeah,
like, hey, I've done the work. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna
yeah.
show up and see where we land.
Yeah, I wasn't really like leading up to that national show. I definitely was not. I was not. And the girls, my experience behind stage, those first two shows too, were very exhilarating. Like it was great confidence. Like all the girls back there were very supporting. Like we were just all supporting each other, calming each other's
Yeah,
nerves down. So it kind of helped a lot.
yeah.
So prep was actually really, cool. And then when I got to nationals, when I got backstage, I was like, oh
Oh,
wow.
right. Reality was like,
I
boom,
was like, reality
everybody is
check.
on.
Like you're a rookie, like reality check. Like this is like the girls are dense. Like it's mature muscle. I feel like I'm the tallest one in there too. Like I felt like at the same time. But I still have my class, but still I just felt tall. I felt tall and slim. I didn't feel like I
Yeah.
had the density that I really needed. But I still kept, I'm like, I'm here, I did the work, just like everyone else did. Let's just have fun. I didn't want my
Mhm.
first experience being at nationals to be bad. So I just
That's
tried to
right.
keep up good energy, especially to exert it to others around me as well. So
Hmm.
when I got on the stage and, doing those lineups and like the call out and like me being in first call out, I was just like, whoa, like that right there was, I didn't know what was going on. I was just standing there and smile. That was that.
Yeah.
So, and plus all the support I had with me too, it was really easy to kind of maneuver through that time too. I was just kind of like, everyone was so high and up, like, oh, like you did great, you did great. But I'm still like, okay, let me just keep right here because I know how I don't want to be disappointed. I don't want to,
Yeah.
because my hopes are high. Everyone's hopes is high going to nationals. They're going to get a pro card. So I also knew like this was I'm still a rookie. I'm 2 years in this sport. Some people have been in this longer than I have.
Right.
And to even when I did get that second place call out, I was
Hmm.
very upset. I will say I was
Yeah.
kind of like,
Because you're like right there.
I was like, I was this close. I was so close.
Right.
And I can't lie to you. Like, I stepped off stage and I was hugging my coach, like, Jordan. I was crying like,
Yeah.
backstage, in the middle of the whole floor, backstage. Everyone
Yeah.
was there. But I did not care because just that's how I felt. And I was like, I didn't want to feel like I did my coach wrong because I didn't do anything. It's just kind of like
Hmm.
mentally, emotionally, I was just so like in distraught. I'm like, wow,
Hmm.
like, I was that close. Like, I was gonna
Yeah.
roll. Like, I got overall second place. Ow.
Yeah.
But that kind of fueled me, and like
Hmm.
the people around me, like I said, it helped me so much to keep going on my journey because like I said, it's not a thing to compete with others, it's to compete with myself. Like
I
how
think
can I
that's been
show it better?
a real big trend. And some of the other women that I've talked to as well is like,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna lose more than you win in this sport for most people. I mean, you having such a wonderful track record of getting first place every and overall titles every time you step out is a testament to your physique and the work that you've put in. But we always have to have that, like that humble part too, like anything can happen, because there are so many women that go out and give it their all and then walk away with nothing. And so
Mm-hmm.
this sport builds so much character because that happens more times than not. And so how then do you recover? So you do your first national show, you're right there, and it's like, now what?
I honestly went into, since I started competing, I've only had maybe 5 months into an off season.
Hmm.
So for me, it was just kind of like, no, my off season never went great.
Hmm.
I had a whole binge eating problem. Like
Yeah.
I've had to get fat, and not just because like the saying, oh, you need to get fat to build muscle. Like, of course that's true, but no, you don't. You don't have to get fat
That's
to build
right.
muscle. And like I would just eat, and that was hard to even like just to kind of wrap yourself back in. Like you have to go back into
Hmm.
a long
Yeah.
prep to compete again, to like
Hmm.
to be hungry again. But it's just
Hmm.
kind of like I had to ask myself, like, you're not just doing this for a pro card. You're not gonna put yourself through all this trauma because it's not easy. But
Right.
you're not gonna put yourself through all of this to feel yourself, like to
Hmm.
just to get a pro card, it has to be
Hmm.
more than that. It's the purpose
Yeah.
behind of how strong are you going to be? Like, what do you really want for yourself? Like,
Hmm.
what are you trying to prove to yourself, not to
Hmm.
anyone else? And I had
Hmm.
to ask myself that so many times, and I'm just like, I just want to be better than I am yesterday. I want to be better than I was last year.
That's right.
Like I want to be a better person than I can possibly be. So
Hmm.
that like that push from that second place is just more like I have to continue to keep going. Like I have to continue to keep showing up for myself. And then
Hmm.
seeing other people how motivated I motivate other people as well. My clients, it was just kind of like I have people rooting for you. Like,
Yeah.
you kind of have, and that's where the pressure comes too. Like you have people rooting for you, looking up to you, and it's like, all right, like you're not just doing this for yourself now. You're kind of doing it for the people around you. Like they want you to
Yeah.
you're getting prayers, you're getting all these. The support was like extreme. So I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, like I gotta keep going because I know
You're right.
I'm still here for a reason in this sport for
So
sure.
let's talk about that show day, right? So, I mean, it's probably still fresh in your mind. You have worked so hard, you dug back out, you've done all the cardio, you ate the right foods. Now it's show day. Talk to me about that day going in. Were you calm? Were you nervous? Like, what
The
were
day
you still
going
like,
into
hey,
my when I got my pro card.
yeah.
Uh, so I think me going into it, I honestly was really calm. Um, I was also nervous too. Of course, I had to be a little nervous, but I was also
Yeah.
very calm because it was that I haven't competed since then. Like I didn't do a show all year up until 2023 of that September show. And I was
Hmm.
like, that's where I'm going to come back and really improve myself. So
Hmm.
in my mind, I knew I had it.
Yeah.
In my mind, I knew I was like, God, like I did everything I had to do coming up to this point. Like my feelings were very emotional,
Hmm.
very, very emotional. I think I cried like the day before. Like I
Hmm.
was crying. Yeah, that was crying the day before, that morning, that Friday morning. I don't even know why I just started bursting into tears. And I had like my friends there. My cousin came from Virginia, and I think it was just the right amount of people I also had around me. It was very sentimental, and like
Yeah.
I had like the people who were really close to me. I had them there with me,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and that meant a lot. So having them kind of calm, and then like me just being in a calm state of peace, I just kind of had to just follow suit. Like my coach was like, I was checking in every single moment, sending him videos because I had found I got a new coach,
Yeah.
and he's in the UK. So he told me if you get your pro card, I'm gonna come to your pro show, your pro debut. And so when I did that, when I got backstage, I wasn't as nervous as I was the first time when I got back there the first time.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
was kind of like, I'm excited. I was just excited at
Right.
that point.
Right.
And then my friend
It was a
Madison,
little
she
more
was,
familiar. So you're
yeah, I
like,
was
okay,
familiar.
we
And like
ready.
with
We
my
showing up. We
friends,
ready. Yeah.
yeah, one of my friends was there, Madison. She did that was her first national show. So it was exciting to be there for her because she wasn't nervous, but she was ready to have fun. So we
Yeah.
kind of like bounced off each other.
Right.
And I was just the energy. I just felt different. I knew I felt different because I knew
Hmm.
I did what I had to do to be there.
That's
And I
right.
actually felt like I was deserving to be there rather than me just looking like
Yeah.
I'm
Like, what's gonna happen? You kind of felt like I've arrived. I'm in my spot. I'm in my zone.
yeah,
Everything is where it needs to be. So at this point, you know, they got to just give me what I came to get. I talked to another woman, Natasha, yesterday, and she's saying the same thing. Like when she was getting her pro card, she was just
yeah.
like, she was at that point where I knew my body was there, so it was like, just give me that. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's mine.
It
Just
was
hand it to
literally
me.
like,
Like,
it was like you
yeah.
sat out all year, like
Hmm.
you sat out all year and you did what you had to do. You even had adversities throughout the year. Like I had
Hmm.
problems with my thyroid
Mm.
and my weight could not drop for a whole month. And this is leading up to maybe 10 weeks out, 8 weeks out from the show. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I had dropped 25 pounds in 7 weeks. Like, what am I going to
Yeah.
do? And like, it's stress, it's hormones, it's all of the above. And I'm like, I'm trying to stick to my schedule too, as well. Like, for my schedule, I train clients at 5 a.m. So I have to wake up
Hmm.
and do my fasted cardio. I'm waking up at 2:30 in the morning for months.
Wow.
8, 9 months, 2:30 a.m. Getting into the gym by 3:30, 4 o'clock, knocking out my cardio, maybe like 45 minutes, 55 minutes, depending on what time frame it is. And still going about my day, training my clients up till noon, 12:30, and still training myself as well. And I was
Hmm.
working at the gym as well also. So it was just kind of like I had to work, I had to train, I had to make sure I was eating, I had to sleep. It was all back to back to back. But
Yeah.
leading up to the point, it was just like I knew for a fact me going through all of that throughout the year, I was gonna end up with something.
That's right.
I was like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna end up with something.
Yeah, that's amazing to that when we think about how much we have to balance, right? Like our
Yeah,
families are still doing life around us and we're measuring out every gram that we eat at the same time, still making a living to support our bodybuilding passions and just every single day pounding it out and getting it done.
yeah.
um to challenge yourself because at the end of the day it's your reward, right? Like it's
It's your
your accolade,
reward.
it's just for you.
Yeah,
So that's
and still remaining
yeah.
humanity as well, like keeping your humanity. And like I
Hmm.
always say, people are always I can be a groggy person in prep. I really can't. I could be tired, sleepy, hungry, all the above every single day. But one thing I will not do is be rude. Because at the end
Yeah.
of the day, you chose to do this
You
sport.
chose this.
And
That's
I've
right.
come across a couple people, who've been like, total assholes.
Hmm.
And it's not it's
It's
not
not
the
our
person
fault you
it's not
decided to eat 400
it's not
calories a
that
day.
person's fault you
Like,
decided to start a prep to do the show. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
you have to continue to keep your humanity and try to keep, like, once you feel good, you can treat people good around you. Like, prep can be smooth. Prep is
That's
not
right.
really it's supposed to be hard, of course, but it's not supposed to be something
Miserable. Yeah.
miserable. Like, you shouldn't
Hmm.
have to hate, like, the people around you, or, like, of course you don't want to talk, but there's a way to say it. There's a
That's
way to
right.
use your words when you're in prep.
Yeah.
And that's how you kind of have to check yourself a little bit. Like, you really, I will say, prep actually shows you kind of who you are really as a
Your
person
character. That's
and
right.
your character. And you can see a lot of character in front of, like, in people when they're in prep, and you're like, ooh.
Yes,
You're like,
that's absolutely true. Because I mean, when you are depleted like that and you're running on fumes,
mhm,
do you still have the capacity to, like you said, hold your tongue,
yeah,
understand that your energy is it's important to show poise still. Like you can't be out here flagrant, yelling insults, being mad at people,
flicking
and
people
expecting
off.
everybody to read your mind. Like
Absolutely.
it's not about that. If you are in that state, then you need to back up and like maybe reconsider some things and become more self-aware of how you
Absolutely.
are, because yeah, you start imprinting on people and stuff. It's just it's no
Or
good.
even accepting or expecting people to do things for you that you want them to do. And I'm like,
Hmm.
some people who don't know this sport don't really know how to act towards you because you're not allowing them to, or you're not letting them
Hmm.
into, or discussing with them, look, during this phase of my, during this phase, this is what I need to be, this is what I can do, this is what I can't do. And that's all
That's
it takes
right.
is communication. Communication is the
That's
big
all it is.
thing. That's all
That's
it is. And I'm like, people can be very, very understanding if you just talk and
right. Hmm.
communicate instead
That's
of
right.
just be quiet and just sit there like, well, I don't really know, and not talk to each other. And like, that's how problems start. It's just kind of
Yeah.
like, just communicate and let people know that, look, I let my parents know at the same time. They support me how they support me. They call me, check on me, but they're not going to bother me.
That's right.
They're
That's
not
right.
gonna bug me, but they're gonna make sure I'm good. And that's enough for
Yeah.
me to still have that connection with my friends too. That's hard.
Yeah.
Sacrifice.
We got the career out the way. I got three more questions for you. Number one, what is at the top of your playlist? Anybody who knows me knows I love music. Soundtrack is my life. And so tell me, what gets Rhea hype in the gym? What song you listening to, girl?
Crank That by Soldier Boy.
Oh, wow. Bang, bang.
I
Soldier
promise.
Bang,
Boy,
bang.
tell.
I don't know why. Like, I, I don't know. I promised out in prep.
Is
Like,
it the
If
intro?
y'all call him
Is it
Soldier
a
yes,
little
Boy,
calypso?
you just gotta
you.
punch, then crank back 3 times from left to right.
Now I mean you, crank that soul. Now I mean you, crank that soul. Now I mean you, crank that soul. Now I mean you, crank that soul.
I feel you. It's one of those that do come on, and like no matter where you are, you kind of, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You
you
just vibe
kind of
into
you're
it.
just like already like you have no
Yeah.
choice but to bop.
I feel
Yeah.
you. I
Hmm.
feel you. I feel you. Okay. And one food that was like on your list, like maybe it was a guilty pleasure or a phenomenal way that you figured out how to do prep. What's one food that we have to add to our prep lineup, or a secret sauce, or some sort of seasoning, or
Okay, well,
yeah,
I'll
what
start with first seasonings. If you're gonna order, get some Flavor God. Flavor God has a
flavor?
lot of seasonings. They have more than Mrs. Dash. I know Mrs. Dash is a good one, but Flavor God, just order the box. You'll be
Order the
fine.
whole
They have
box.
sales all the time. I promise you.
Yeah.
And they have a lot of seasonings. It makes your food good. Season your food.
Yes.
Don't
It
eat
don't
your
got to be
stuff bland.
bland.
Like, it don't have to be bland. I promise your chicken
Right.
does not have to be white like that. I
Right.
promise. Like, it doesn't. Your food is not. I think I put like oats, egg whites, protein powder, peanut butter, and all in one bowl.
Ugh. That's
And
like pro oats with like, yeah, that's a lot.
it was a lot, but there was a lot. Hmm.
I think the most embarrassing thing that I've tried during prep so far has been cinnamon on top of cucumbers. I don't know who told me or why, but
Yeah.
I was so like just out of it that I was like, oh, this is good. You know what I mean? It felt like it was I was feasting. But if I tried to eat that right now, I totally gag. It was
Yeah.
not it's not smart at
I
all.
wasn't really big on trying things like that in prep because I knew
Hmm.
like I couldn't eat nothing to fix it. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just stick to what I know
Just stick to
because
the
I'd
basics.
be mad if I can't wash it down with nothing.
Yep. And so it's just at that point, like when you get to that point where you are really depleted and all that. You just eat the food and you just be
You
happy
just
for the
eat
meals
it.
you get. You be
Yeah.
happy for the meals that you get and keep it moving. Okay, and what's next? What is next for Rhea? So you got this pro card. I'm sure it's framed somewhere in the house.
It's
What's
actually
next?
right there.
Yay!
So I actually did my pro debut in October, and I got 10th place out of 13 beautiful women.
Wonderful.
And
Yes,
for me, that's 10 spots away from Olympia.
that's right.
So my goal is to go to Olympia 2025.
Okay.
And I'm in off season right now for the whole year.
Hmm.
I told my coach I wanted to take some time off because for the past 3 years I have been competing
That's right.
back to
Back to
back.
back to back.
And going to that pro show and seeing how dense them girls were was inspiring to me. And I was just happy to be there. At that point, I was just happy. So my goal is to grow, take
Okay.
some time off, get healthy, get fed, and enjoy my life the way I can. But I know this off season is going to be different because I'm being more intentional
That's right.
with my eating because I
Hmm.
used to, like I said, I binged before,
Yeah.
and it was not good. Like I didn't
Yeah.
feel
It's harder.
good.
So much harder to come back from that.
So much harder, and I don't want to do a 20-week prep. Like I want to do a 16-week or less, and be.
Yeah.
I just want to be on a regimen instead of me just stopping all the things I need to do in prep and then just hopping back in it. You can't do
Yeah.
that. You got to actually have intent.
Oh, that's absolutely 100%. I know for me, this off season's been the longest. By the time I hit the stage again, it'll be probably 15 months in between my last show. That's the longest I've ever gone, but totally needed
Yeah,
to reset my levels and actually grow and like
that's
take the
that.
time to actually grow. And so
Yeah.
we'll see. We'll see what's coming up. If there
Yes.
was a woman who, is watching this right now and she's like, I love her physique. I feel like I can do it. What would be your like one key point of advice to her?
If you feel like you can do it, do it. Prepare yourself and set yourself up to just do it. It's going to take day by day of action and course to get to that goal. But you can't think 10 weeks from now or months from now. You got to think about right now. You got to think, okay, what can I do in my life right now to set myself up to aim for that goal?
So day
You
by
know,
day, just take it little piece by piece.
that's literally, I say that every single time. I say day by day. Everything's day by day.
Mhm.
That's how you don't worry or stress about anything or anybody. You got to
Yeah.
focus on completing your task day by day, whether it's getting all your water in, getting all your meals in, working out 5 times a week, setting yourself up for success and
Mhm.
moving forward. That's that.
Yeah.
Because you're the only
And
person who can stop you.
yeah, that's right. You hold the key. It's everything you need. You already have. You just
Yeah.
gotta figure out how to tap in.
Mhm.
Well, Miss Ray, it has been a wonderful experience speaking with you, learning more
Thank
about your
you.
journey. We are again excited to see what you do in the future. I look to you as someone who is making history currently. Right now, you are currently building her story, and it's just again phenomenal. I know you're going to touch many more lives. Thank you for your spirit. Thank you for your energy. Thank you for pouring back into the community the way that you do with such a beautiful smile, y'all. I can't get over that.
Thank
Y'all see that stage photo? Do you see the stage photos? Like she is it, you guys. And I promise
you.
y'all,
Thank you.
2025 is just the beginning. It's gonna start there and go beyond. And we're gonna be talking about you for many, many years. And we're gonna pull back out this interview and you're gonna be like, oh my God, like I said that.
I said that.
That's
Ooh.
right. That's right. When you miss 8-time Olympian, you're gonna be like, what happened? So yeah, but thank you so much.
Thank
All of our
you.
best intentions and wishes for you. You keep dominating. You keep being strong. You keep doing all the things because it looks good on you, girl. And it definitely is pulling. Like I said, you rubbing off on the rest of us. Pull, shimmy, shimmy, and pull some of us up there with you. But you got it going on.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. Can't say enough great things about you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.